Hello everyone, Benevolent History here, and I'm gonna give you a live commentary battle on the grassy flatlands. I'm playing as the Scythians against my opponent. Not sure what's his name right now. Yeah, his name is GREEK-TRIKKALINOS Rek. I think that's recruit. And he's playing as the Macedonians. Anyway, Scythia is a faction that heavily relies upon its archers. It has, with Scythia you could bring up to 8 archers, and you could also bring 2 horse archers as well, so they could bring a maximum of 10 missile units, which just drowns out any faction's missiles really, except Egypt and argue perhaps Dacia as well, but Scythia is better than Dacia. Anyway, I'm doing my usual thing. I just put the long-range archers in the front so that they'll get the first shots if his troops move in, and I put my regular archers in the back with my headhunting maidens behind them in order to protect them from any cav strikes. So, horse archers on the flank, and just gonna wait and start the battle. I forgot to mention that the Scythians also have one of the best cav units in the game. They have the headhunting maiden, which is very cheap light cav, but it's armor piercing, so against armored units like companions, sacred band, praetorian cav, or cataphracts, they'll do much more damage, and that's basically why Scythia can stand a chance against those factions while Dacia can't. I mean, Scythia has much better cav because headhunting maidens, if used correctly, the headhunting maidens can easily overpower companions or any other heavy cav in the game. Now I'm sending out my horse archers out. Pretty standard tactic. Right now I'm trying to take pot shots at his companion cav because I see that they're heavily upgraded. See ya. Now the army that my opponent chose, I do not recommend it at all. I mean, if you're a Macedon playing against Scythia, I suggest you don't bother with any heavy cav. Basically, maybe 1 or 2 units, but heavy cav is generally a waste of money if you're going up against Scythia and you're Macedon. With Macedon, you really have to rely on much more archers than this. I mean, you should bring up to 8 archers, as I said again, with Macedon, against any faction really, because that's what Macedon's strength lies. Macedon's strength lies on its Cretans and its archers. Also, another mistake that he made with his army is the fact that he brought way more infantry than he should have. If you're playing as a faction against a faction that's heavy on missiles like Scythia, you should not bring that many infantry because infantry, especially the royal pikemen, are very vulnerable to missile fire in the late game. They're also very vulnerable to cav strikes if you don't micro the infantry properly. So basically, against any skirmish faction really, generally you want to bring way more missiles and you want to bring less cav because most of the time you'll be at a cav disadvantage. I mean, if you know that you're up against a faction that has better cav than you, you should not bring more cav to compensate. You should rather move and rely on other tactics, like such as skirmishing or whatnot. You can see apparently my opponent's getting angry at the fact that he's not doing any real significant damage on my archers, so he's just moving forward. Now I pulled my long range archers back, which was a mistake. I should have let them stay their place. I think I was planning to create like a concave formation surrounding him that you just saw there. I'm trying to go make a missile surrounding tactic in order to intimidate him somewhat. And you can see at the back over there that my horse archers, I mismanaged them mismanaged them. I mismicroed them, and they got caught by the companions. Yeah. Whenever using horse archers, you have to be pretty quick on your quick on your micro in order to save them. That's why micro is very important. Now, that horse archer unit will come back from routing, but still, it's something that I should not have done. And in addition, I should have pulled my long range archers back a bit more. Since they have longer range, I could just merely put the long range archers at the back and put my archer warbands in the front, so that the archer warbands will soak up missiles while the long range archers will be away from any missile fire. Anyway, obviously you can see here that I'm gonna win the missile duel because I have a total of 10 missile units while he only has 2, so it's kind of unbalanced there. And so because I know I'm gonna win the missile duel, I'm just targeting his heavy cav. You can see there he's chasing his cav because I used three of my archer warbands to target one of his companions, and right now he's chasing them. This in itself is a huge mistake because I'm not sure if my opponent did not know about headhunting maidens. He just sent one cav out, it got isolated badly and just destroyed. You should not make any stupid moves like that. That is what I consider a stupid move, because obviously that companion unit was totally isolated, and he probably should have known that it would have gotten killed. I mean, it was concerned by numeric, it was outnumbered, it had no chance of living. And you can see here that I'm using flame arrows on his companions, while at the same time I strike them with my headhunting maidens in order to make them rout. Now you can see here I'm using wedge formation. Wedge formation is generally best used only against cav, because the wedge gives you somewhat of an edge on normal scale against enemy cav units. I mean, on huge scale or large scale, I don't suggest using wedge because of the fact that your cav, there's too many troops in the cav unit, so they can't maneuver properly. You can see here that he's sending 2 companions out to try and take down my archers, and it's basically a mistake because heavy cav can't catch light cav that easily. So that's why my archer units just backed away. They can't really catch him very well. And I'm just shooting with the flame missiles to give them a morale penalty. And basically I decimated all his cav units because he futilely sent them out isolated by themselves. I also do a pretty risky move here. I just charge all my units at the companion cav, while his companion cav was pretty close to his infantry. Now, he really should have used his infantry in conjunction with this cav, because that's the only thing he does have in this battle. He has infantry superiority. However, having infantry superiority against a faction that relies heavily on skirmish is really risky, because you run the chances of just being shot to death like this. You see my opponent's making a new box, and while all my missile troops, all 9 of them, just surround his little new box, and at this point in the battle, he has no chance of winning, really, unless I act stupid and charge in all of my missile units at once, which I obviously won't. But I'm just gonna sit back and shoot missiles at his troops. And since Royal Pikemen are very susceptible to missile fire because they have very low armor defense. Exactly. Unlike the Sacred Band, they have really low armor defense, and they could die very easily by missiles. So essentially, my opponent lost. He can't exactly chase down my archers very well. See here, he's separating his troops, which it's a bad decision too. Although he would have lost anyway, because you can see that the two Royal Pikemen with his general unit are way separated from his army. You can obviously hear that I'm basically targeting all my missiles at his troops, I'm sending in my barbarian peasants, my meat shields in to hold them in place. Though in retrospect, I probably should not have sent my barbarian peasants in. They aren't designed for hand-to-hand combat, obviously. So one of my headhunting maidens gets trapped, and a lot of those women die, sadly. But it's alright. I mean, I don't think I'll need headhunting maidens to win this battle anyway. Basically, I surround his troops. His general unit and his other royal pikeman unit just get plain massacred. And you can see all my barbarian unit, all my barbarian peasants just take flight, because obviously they can't really fight easily. Right now I'm moving all my headhunting maidens to try and surround his general unit and hit him from all sides. And essentially, his general unit is definitely screwed. I mean, there's no way he can save his general unit now. Like bam bam, his general unit routes. I think his general actually escapes from this battle. So good thing to the general. Something good to the general. At least he doesn't die anyway. I believe my opponent admits defeat soon, though even if he kept on fighting, he still obviously would have lost. I mean, that's a power with missile troops, because missile troops, the whole entire goal of Rome Total War is mainly missiles and cav are more important. Yeah, good game to my opponent.